before Phoenix area in town. I believe John Force, he was probably over here on the east side. But Alan and I, we had the south side covered. Chief, Chief had North Day. So then every once in a while we all ran together. But anyway, so Alan Greenson was a friend of mine growing up from childhood, right in the same neighborhood, all the way through school. I knew his family. My older sister grew up with his older sister, and when I went in the Marine Corps after several years after high school, I just totally lost track of Al. Every once in a while, his name would come up in conversation, and nobody knew where Al was. We knew that Al struggled at points in time during his youth, but we never really knew, a lot of us, what happened to him. It wasn't until years later that I'm scrolling through my Facebook feed, and I get a friend request from Alan Greenson. And so I click on it and I look and I'm like, that's not the Alan Greenson I know. The Alan Greenson I know had legs like the size of my forearms. There's no way that could be Alan Greenson. Well, it turns out it was. And Al had been in recovery for a period of time. I'll tell you that whole story. But we've been in touch ever since. We talk every once in a while. We shared some experiences and some things that are pretty unique. I'm just going to read off because I wanted to know some of his accolades. But this is just a quick little resume. Al has 10 first-place finishes for the Masters class, age 50 to 54. 28 different records in 4 different states, including Ohio, and he holds 9 world records.
Wow.
Okay. Little Al is now Big Al.
Yeah.
And he does it day by day. I'm sorry, this is powerlifting champion, obviously. You can tell by looking at him. But anyway, I want to introduce my good friend Alan Greenson. Come up here and tell his story. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate you asking me to do this. It's my pleasure. This is part of the ways that one of the big parts of how I stay clean and sober, just by sharing my experience and hope for others. I'll start from the beginning. Pretty much, I started drinking the summer after 8th grade. My sister was an AFS student in Belgium, and she had a boyfriend that lived in Montreal, and we went by bus to visit him, and they had a big party for us, and they were serving wine as much as you could drink, and I drank as much as I could drink and more. I just remember that before that I felt like inadequate, never fit in with anyone. I never I didn't have that many friends really back then. It just was I was like a round peg in a square hole, basically. That felt. But when I drank at that party, I felt like I fit in with everyone. I could dance better. My conversations were good, and until I got the bed spins later on. They just installed new carpeting in this house, and it was white, and I tracked mud all over it. I got the bed spins and threw up all over their brand new white carpeting, which did not go over very good with them, of course. But anyways, my drinking never really got any better after that. I pretty much was a blackout drinker from the beginning. And around high school, like 9th grade, I picked up smoking pot, taking acid. Was mostly a weekend warrior with the alcohol. Pretty much a blackout drinker on the weekends. Got into trouble with the law a few times in Fairhaven, a couple of DUIs. I had my license back one time for 1 week, and I got my second DUI in Dartmouth. I got pulled over driving a new Fiero. This was about 1987. And when I pulled over, I was so drunk, I was driving without my lights on, and I proceeded to hand the police officer, this was Dartmouth, this happened, a $5 bill and said, "If you let me go, there's more where this came from. I'll take me to the ATM machine right now." And then when I got to the Dartmouth police station, they took the handcuffs off, you know, and they were booking me, and I grabbed my keys and my wallet off the desk and ran out the back door. And they went around one side, they went out on the front, tackled me. I was very feeble, I went right down, of course. And I got charged. That was a charge of escape, bribing an officer, second DUI, driving without my lights on. And the judge was actually kind of chuckling about as he was reading the docket. And luckily, he dropped all the other charges for the DUI. But that was my first treatment center. I did 2 weeks in a place called STAR program. That was my first time in a treatment. Right after that, I started doing a lot of cocaine also with the alcohol. Basically, I've had bottoms on every drug you can think of: opioids, crack, cocaine. Alcohol is a constant throughout my using years. I'm just a plain, like I said, in 8th grade, the first time I drank, I was pretty much, the ism was there. I was an alcoholic right from the beginning. But anyways, the first time I tried recovery was about 1992. It was the night before Thanksgiving, and I was riding on my bike, and I crashed my bike and landed on my face after screaming at somebody. I was giving somebody a hard time for no reason, and like a fool, I went right over and landed on my face on my bike, and I took my mother's car out. I had no license at the time. Took my mother's car out till the wee hours in the morning on Thanksgiving. Came home with my face all cut up and everything. I couldn't have Thanksgiving with my parents. They just left me and said, "Stay up in your bedroom and we'll tell Grandma and Grandpa you're sick." You know? So I got a year of sobriety. I started going to AA meetings after that. I got a year of sobriety, just a little more. And that was the first time of 4 times that I got a year, but I never got up to a year and a half trying it out. I had enough one day. They have the chips, the white chips. I could tile a whole floor with those. My motto is never give up. That's my motto because I tried and tried and tried so many different times. I'm lucky to be standing here talking to you right now, actually. But anyways, I moved to Florida, basically they call it a geographic detour. When you go somewhere else to get away from your problems in one place. Well, you follow you. I followed myself, of course, and my problems came with me. And it's definitely a progressive disease. In Florida, I got worse and worse. I became a booster. I started boosting CDs and stuff. I got arrested 8 times for. I was not a very good thief. I was the worst thief in the world. I got caught 8 times for misdemeanor retail theft of under. I think it was under $500 or $200 or something like that. Like I said, not a very good thief. I got caught every time, but I kept doing it. One time I actually did it. In Florida, a lot of times they'll just write you a ticket for it because the jails are so full. And I went right back to another store after they wrote me a ticket and did it again, you know. So basically, I was an absolute idiot when I drank and used. I got hooked on opioids for about a decade in Florida, and that was a complete nightmare. I was absolutely a mess. I was hooked on methadone for a long time also, and just a total mess. Anyways, I met a girl there. That's how I got hooked on I won't say how I did. I took the pills myself, but she was into the pharmacy and doctor shopping thing, and I got involved in all that nonsense in Broward County. And I met her, and basically that takes me up to about 2011. I decided on another geographical cure, and I moved to the Midwest to this small town, trying to get away from the opioids. And that's when my drinking really, the drinking part of it really progressed. You couldn't get that stuff like you could in Florida, the opioids. And you could get them, but it was sporadic. So I just replaced one thing with another, and went back to the old eating alcohol for me. I had started drinking around the clock. Just taking any pills I could get my hands on. Basically in Illinois, I became homeless for about, I was pretty much homeless also in Florida. I'd get a place, get kicked out of there, sleep on someone's couch, go in the nut house. I've been in every kind of institution you can think of, you know. Everywhere I went, I've been in county jail where I lived back then. So anyways, in Illinois, I became homeless for real there, living in the woods. I didn't even have a tent. I had a tarp and sleeping bag, pretty much. I did that for just over a month. Got a little money together for my parents, and I ended up getting this little flea-bag motel in a small town called West Frankfort, Illinois. And it's pretty much known for West Frankfort is known for the last public hanging, I think, almost in the United States. I think there was one other one, but definitely in Illinois. Charlie Barker, I think his name was, known gangster. He got a public hanging in the 1930s. So that's what it's basically known for. Just a little redneck town. Pretty much in this hotel, I drank 24/7 in there. And had this girlfriend that drank like me, and we argued all the time. And I forgot to bring up the fact, 200 miles away, I also lived in a place called Olney, Illinois, only known for the home of the white squirrel. There's white squirrels there, actually. And I got arrested. I got into meth too for about 6 months. I did methamphetamine for 6 months, and I got a felony. In my house today, I got a class 3 felony for possession of under 5 grams there. And I got put on birth offender. It just kind of tied me to West Frankfort. How that's why I had warrants in 2 different other counties. I also had a warrant in the next county over for writing bad checks. But anyways, I got my house got raided. I got put on first offender's probation after being in jail for about almost 6 months. I had no money for bond or anything, and I went to rehab out of there for that. And right after I got out of rehab and out of jail, I started drinking again. I never did meth again. Never did it again. It just never came across me again. I probably would have done it. But I continued to drink around the clock, and if you're on like how would you call it, like a real strict probation, like a drug court probation, if you're drinking 24/7, you're not going to make it. It doesn't work like that, you know. And I think I showed up only one time to the probation office, and I never showed up again. They call it absconding. I never showed back up again because I knew I would have just dirty. So. That's how I ended up 100 miles away. But anyways, I also had the warrant for writing a bad check, a misdemeanor warrant. So anyways, I was in West Frankfort in that motel with a girl, and we got into a big argument. And the police came, and I had a big bottle of vodka. Both of us were completely smashed. And it was like a domestic thing. And when they came, I told them right off the bat, this is when I had my last drink. I told the 2 officers, I have warrants in 2 other counties, you know. I just want to let you know right off the bat, I'm going to go peacefully, you know. I did what I did. I really want to change. I actually told them that. That's when I had my last drink. It was under the guise of the West Frankfort police. I asked them if I could take 2 more shots because I knew I was going away. This is true. True story.
They let me have 2 more shots, and I smoked cigarettes at the time, and one of them smoked, and they gave me one last Newport. Let me smoke it before I went in the car. And yeah, I'm grateful for those. They were very nice to me, you know. That's one thing I never really did. I never resisted. I knew it was, you know, I was the problem at that point, you know. In the past, I always blamed everybody else for it, the police that arrested me, my genetics, my parents, everybody but myself. But finally, and that's one of the key points in my recovery, I was the problem. Nobody else but me, you know. But anyways, I ended up getting extradited over back to Olney. First to Clay, it was Clay County. It's a county of about 2,000. No money at all, even if I had, the bond was $50. Nobody else, there was nobody left in my life. My sister was the only one at the time, and she had pretty much blocked me on the phone. I did 30 days there, and then they extradited me for the felony, and they gave me 3 years in prison. So I did, in Illinois, if it's a non-violent crime, and it's your first offense first time going in, they cut it in half. So it gave me 1.5 years to do, and then they gave me credit for, I believe, 5 months of being in the county jail. So that cut it down to 13 months. Then I went into a program when I was incarcerated. I can't even remember the name of it, but it was a drug and alcohol behavioral program. And I was in there for most of the time I was in there, and that cut it down where I had to do about, it was under a year in there. It was like something like, all told with the county jail and everything, I ended up doing like almost 11 months. In the prison though, I went to a minimum security prison. Actually, one of my cellmates, there's 100 in the dorm, was an ex-quarterback of the Bears. He had like 5 or 6 DUIs. He was a quarterback before Jim. But anyways, it was a minimum security. I'm grateful I was in there. It was not really hardcore at all. It was kind of like being in a college dorm with all guys, you know, pretty much. Anyways, when I went in that program, I definitely excelled in there. I did not talk and hang out with anybody that had any negative conversations about addiction. And someone would bring up, yeah, when I get out, I'm going to quit the hard drugs, but I'm going to go to the bar still. I didn't hang out with them anymore. I was done at the time. I knew I was done. I went to as many meetings. They had meetings in there, AA meetings and NA meetings, as I could. I signed up for another program in there, lifestyles, and I just got as much as I could out of it, you know. And when I got out, I had about almost 11 months of sobriety, and I started going to meetings in Illinois. And that's another key. They say when you get out of a program, you become much more successful if you go to a meeting right away. As soon as you get out of that program, that day actually, the success rate is much greater. And I did that. I went into it was a federal/state halfway house. It was mostly funded by the federal government, where you had people that were in prison in the federal prisoners that were doing the rest of their time there. It was just as strict as being in jail almost. They had count time. They metal detected you, breathalyzed when you walked in, and it was pretty strict. But I persevered. And when I got my own place, I continued going to meetings. I picked up weight training when I was at Taylorville Correctional Institute. They had weights in there that were welded together, pretty much. That way, you couldn't assault. There was a chance. You could assault somebody, but it was a lot less than if you had 3 barbells. But that's where I picked up weight training, and I started training. I really loved. I trained a lot in my 20s, not a lot, but a little bit sporadically, and I always got very strong in my 20s. Just a little bit of time, just like a gym rat. But once in a while, when I was in between my visions. that was pretty much over at age 30. I couldn't train anymore. I became unemployable also. But anyways, I really loved training, and I got into powerlifting. I got into powerlifting at age 51. I met a lot of people on Facebook, like Larry Pacifico, who's a Hall of Fame powerlifter. He's got a Wikipedia page. Vincent Nello, first man to deadlift 800 pounds at 198 pounds. All these guys are in magazines. I also met a very cool guy named Greg Boyd. He played for the Patriots for the first 3 or 4 years of his career, 8-year defensive tackle, defensive end actually. And then he became a professional wrestler. A lot of people were helping me out. They saw that I had pretty good big potential in powerlifting. My first competition was about almost 3 years ago in February, right before COVID pretty much started. And I got talked into it by my friend. I said, no, I'm not ready. I hadn't really been training my legs very much, deadlift. I had slacked off over the winter. But anyways, I had a 350-pound bench in the first one at 51 years old, and a 450 deadlift. The next one I didn't do as good. On the deadlift, I did better. I only had a 220-pound bench. And then I set my sights for a deadlift world record in Natick, Massachusetts, and I got that with a 540-pound deadlift. So I increased my deadlift by almost 100 pounds at that point in a year. And then I became very good friends with the Hall of Fame powerlifter I mentioned, Larry Pacifico. And one day he messaged me on Facebook. He goes, I want you to come over to Ohio. I would like you to break that deadlift record that you broke earlier. I think you can break it again here. I'd like to see you. So he paid for my flight, had a room ready for me. He had prime rib sent to my room. Took me out to the outback, let me use his vehicle. You know, this was a dream trip for me. This guy I absolutely looked up to. He is known as the GOAT of powerlifting. Him and Ed Cohen. Cohen's the other one. Ed Cohen's the other GOAT. So it's like dual GOATs. Larry won 9 world championships from 1970 to 1979. Set 110 world records. Was on all the magazines. I got a bunch of magazines where he's on the cover. You know, Muscle Magazine, Iron Man Magazine, Powerlifting USA. It was an absolute greatest weekend I ever had at the time. So I broke the record by 0.1 pounds. See, I broke the first record. It was only 3 weeks before that. I was pretty tired, and I didn't have too much left in the tank after 3 weeks. But I ended up breaking it by 0.1. And Larry made fun of me. He goes, "You're like that Russian weightlifter, Alexei. In the Soviet Union, I may not be pronouncing his name right, but he was the first kid to clean and jerk 500 pounds. And he would break records by 0.1 pound, a half of a kilo, or whatever, because the Soviets, every time he broke the record, the Soviets would give him a bunch of money. So he was breaking just a tiny bit to get paid big paydays. He said, God, you're like that Russian weightlifter in Lexington, breaking it by 0.1. But anyways, since that time, I have 28 different records in 4 different states. I have 10 world records, 9 world records. Some of them I broke my own. I broke my own deadlift record twice at one powerlifting meet. You get 3 tries. I hit 530. And then I hit 540 on the next attempt. Then I broke that again with a 580-pound deadlift. And then again, I went to another federation called the World Powerlifting Association, which is an even bigger federation. I broke those records in a federation called Revolution Powerlifting Federation. This is all over the world, the WPA. And at my last meets this summer, at 54 years old, I deadlifted 600 pounds for the first time, and I benched 400 pounds for the first time at 54 years old. with a 530-pound squat, and I got the world record for my weight and age in the WPA for the deadlift and all three lifts. See, some of my lifts aren't the greatest, but Larry said because I'm pretty good at all three of them, that my total, that's why my total breaks record. I'm like diversified through all three lifts. And it's a great community. Us powerlifters, we're very positive. We support each other. I have friends all over the world, from Iceland, Tasmania, even all over the world. I have friends. Finland, you name it. And I'm just going to keep going for what I'm doing. You know, someday, you know, it'll all end. You know, we all wear out somewhere. You know, along the line. But I haven't yet. And I actually have a friend who's 71 that's helped me out the most, named Mike Birch. He deadlifted 500 pounds at 71 years old at the last powerlifting meet I was at. You know, and eat with ease too. 71 years old. He's been competing since the 1960s, and his motto is never give up, and that's been my motto. Recovery has been absolutely wonderful. If someone had told me, okay, I didn't mention my sobriety date. I got sober January 11th of 2015. Had you told me right around that time that I'd be standing here talking about this and about my sober journey, I would think you were nuts, you know. But anyways, it's great seeing everyone here. God bless everyone. Thank you.
So, thank you everybody for coming out and coming to support National Recovery Fund.